46 people fell into the Ohio River on December 15, 1967, when the Silver Bridge collapsed without warning during rush hour. But here's what the official investigations never fully addressed. In the 13 months before that bridge fell, dozens of residents of Point Pleasant, West Virginia, many filing independent reports, described seeing something. A creature, roughly 7 feet tall, winged, with eyes described repeatedly and independently as glowing red. And then the bridge collapsed, and the sightings stopped. Completely. That detail changes everything, because Point Pleasant was not the last place this pattern appeared. What you're about to hear are documented cases, witness reports logged by investigators, and a sequence of events that forces a question most people aren't comfortable asking. Is the Mothman a warning, or is it something even harder to explain than that? Let's go back to where it started. November 1966, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Two young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Millette, are driving near an abandoned World War II munitions facility locals call the TNT area. It's just after midnight. Their headlights catch something standing near the road, tall, humanoid, with wings folded against its back, and then it lifts off. It follows their car. At over 100 miles per hour, according to their account filed with the Mason County Sheriff's Office the same night. 4 witnesses, 1 report, logged and documented. Over the next 13 months, the sightings multiplied. Power company employees, a volunteer firefighter, a former Korean War veteran. Dozens of Point Pleasant residents filed reports. Many described the same physical details without having spoken to each other. The local newspaper covered the story. Investigative journalist John Keel arrived to document the phenomenon firsthand, interviewing witnesses for what would become his 1975 book, The Mothman Prophecies. And then December 15, 1967 arrived. Gone. The sightings ended the night the Silver Bridge fell. But the story doesn't end in West Virginia. Not even close. In April 1986, workers at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Soviet Ukraine reported seeing a large, dark, winged figure near the facility in the days before Reactor number 4 exploded. These accounts, compiled by Ukrainian researchers and documented in post-Soviet paranormal investigation records, describe a creature matching the West Virginia descriptions almost precisely. Large wingspan, humanoid shape, glowing red eyes. Some workers reported nightmares and phone calls with strange static in the days before the explosion. The disaster occurred April 26, 1986. The accounts remain on record. Nobody talks about what happened next. In August 2007, the I-35W Mississippi River Bridge in Minneapolis collapsed during evening rush hour, killing 13 people and injuring 145. In the weeks before the collapse, multiple witnesses in the Minneapolis area reported sightings of a large winged figure near the bridge. Investigative researcher Linda Godfrey, who has spent over 2 decades documenting cryptid sightings across the American Midwest, has compiled accounts of large winged figures reported in the region during this period, descriptions that matched the pattern established in Point Pleasant decades earlier. The timing was precise. The descriptions were familiar. And this is the part nobody talks about. The sightings didn't emerge after the disaster. They were reported before. That distinction matters enormously. In 2011, in the weeks preceding the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster, triggered by the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami on March 11th, accounts circulated among paranormal researchers of a large, dark, winged figure reportedly seen near the coastline. These reports, cataloged by paranormal researchers tracking the phenomenon internationally, followed the same pattern: winged, dark, tall, appearing and then vanishing without explanation. Then the earthquake, then the tsunami, then the meltdown. Notice the pattern. Each event is separated by years, by continents, by culture, and yet the description is consistent, always before, never after. In 2018, sightings of a large winged humanoid in Chicago's O'Hare area were investigated by researcher Lon Strickler, who compiled over 100 witness reports over a period of roughly 2 years. The witnesses included airline employees, security personnel, and multiple independent observers. Researchers noted the concentration of sightings with unease, waiting to see what, if anything, would follow. Remember what I said at the start: The Silver Bridge sightings didn't begin after the collapse. They ended with it. That is the detail no rational framework has successfully explained. So here is where the documented record leaves us. Multiple disasters, multiple continents, consistent physical descriptions across cultures that had no contact with each other. Witnesses who filed formal reports before events occurred, not after. And in every single case, the sightings ceased when the disaster arrived. No physical evidence has ever been recovered. No photograph has ever been verified. The Mothman remains officially unexplained. But here's the question that the files don't answer, and the one you'll be thinking about long after this ends. If the Mothman is a product of mass hysteria or cultural mythology, why do the sightings consistently precede the disasters rather than follow them? Because if people were simply pattern matching after the fact, the timeline would run the other way. It doesn't, and no one, in nearly 60 years of investigation, has been able to adequately explain why.